Question, are there 7 heavens, as one of my friends said? No, to this one, and I don't get this question very often, but every long now and then people are confused, especially those who haven't been around church or in church for a long time may be confused. But no, there's not 7 heavens. There are only 3 heavens. There's the area around the earth that where we see the blue sky and where the oxygen is and where people can operate. In other words, the canopy that's around this earth is the first heaven. There's the area where they have the stars and the planets and the moons. That's the second heaven. And then there is the throne of God, where God himself sits. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 40 says there are also celestial, that's heavenly, bodies, and bodies terrestrial, that's earthly. Terrestrial is earthly. And it said that as the third heaven is where the dominion of God, where God's throne is presently. That's going to change. That's another teaching also. His heaven is going to change in time. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2, Paul is speaking, and he says, I knew a man, that's himself, he's alluding to himself in the third person, above 14 years ago, such an one caught up to the third heaven. So, when did this happen in Paul's life? There was a time about 14 years ago in the scripture, in Paul's teachings, where he was stoned. Remember that part where Paul was stoned and he was left for dead? Well, the scripture doesn't say, and this is just me, it's not scripture, it's just myself, my interpretation of that particular passage. I really feel that Paul died that day, and that this is what this account is alluding to. I think he died and God took him to heaven, showed him wonderful things too glorious to speak about, and he resurrected him. That's why he could go forth the next day and amaze the people that he had been resurrected, just as Jesus had been sorely punished the day before, and the next 3 days later, he was up, and even his closest associates didn't recognize him. So, no, there are only, to answer this question simply, not 7 heavens, only 3 heavens.